Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. For the longest time, I've said that I don't really think this whole GOAT debate is a real thing. But certain people in media, people in Nike wanted to make this thing a debate. So let's say, okay, let's argue about LeBron and Michael Jordan. Of course, his fans would love that to be a debate, so they pushed for it, rather. But I never thought it was something serious. But you know it's a false debate that when even LeBron James's agent is saying that he would pick Michael Jordan over LeBron James in a clutch moment. That's when you know it's bad. A few months ago, David Falk, Michael Jordan's former agent, made some headlines where he ranked Jordan ahead of LeBron and he ranked Kobe Bryant ahead of LeBron. And Michael Wilbon weighed in on it and it became this big thing in sports media. But in that sound, you hear Michael Jordan's agent picking Michael Jordan. What world could you envision where Jordan's agent would pick LeBron over Jordan for anything? Folks, that's what happened on the Game Over podcast. I want to quickly read you the quote from Yahoo Sports here. It says, "If you want the single last shot, I'm taking Michael Jordan, no question about it." Rich Paul on whether he'd have MJ or LeBron to take the last shot. So we want to play what Rich Paul had to say to Max Kellerman here, and I'm going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to what Rich Paul had to say here.
If I'm starting a basketball team, I'm taking LeBron number one overall. Mm-hmm. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
That's how I feel about MJ.
Yes. Yeah. If I want someone to take, and I know LJ's statistics are off the charts even with this as well.
Yeah.
If I want the single last shot, I'm taking Michael Jordan.
Right.
No question about it. In Kobe's case, when it comes to Kobe, again, I could do either one.
Mm-hmm.
So when people talk to me about the GOAT conversation, and I said this before, you know, I felt like the only separation for me, and this is not me putting my Mr. Bias hat on, is everyone else didn't have the expectation.
Excellent. I want to read through some of the comments. We don't have to put it up, but I just want to read some of the comments. One guy says, the Bulls drafted and built their franchise around Jordan and delivered them 6 championships. LeBron abandoned Cleveland. Another guy said, it's not even MJ hits the last shot. He makes the defensive play too. Game 7 versus the Pacers, blocks Reggie, saves the ball from out of bounds, then hits the game-winning shot. Same thing versus the Knicks. Another gentleman said, isn't LeBron like 20% shooting in the clutch? These convos is not even close. Another guy says, every player that goes top 10 in the draft has expectations. That the hell is he talking about? Another guy says, Jordan far superior on all levels. Stop it, Rich Paul. Another guy says, there are so many other basketball players that you can mention second to Michael Jordan or in the same category taking the last shot, but it certainly isn't LeBron James. Guys like Larry Bird come to mind. Another guy said, ask one of them to do anything else and you're taking Bron. And then it goes on to say a few other things there. People weighed in and left their comments. What are my thoughts about this? Do you know how bad it is that LeBron James's agent is saying that he would pick Michael Jordan over LeBron James to take the last shot? That speaks volumes. It's not just about, I want him to take the last shot over LeBron. It number one says that Michael Jordan is a better player. Because the better player will deliver in that moment. If you believe LeBron was a better player than Jordan, you would have picked him. It also speaks to mentality and everything that goes into Jordan and you having a confidence in him to make that shot. It also goes into playing style. Now, Michael Jordan has more career game winners than LeBron James. Kobe Bryant has more career game winners than LeBron James. And now, you know what's interesting? LeBron fans want to focus on playoff scoring, playoff buzzer beaters. But they were the same ones celebrating the 10-point scoring streak. Well, Michael Jordan had a 10-point scoring streak if you include the playoffs. LeBron fans don't want to mention that. These guys are idiots. LeBron fans are idiots, man. They are idiots. They're annoying idiots. That's what they are. They just pick and choose whatever stat to suit their argument. Rich Paul saying that is saying the truth. There was another part when they were arguing about Max Kellerman. Rich Paul's like, you talking about Max Kobe Bryant, a top 10 player, bro. Like, why are we even doing this show right now? And it makes me believe that if Rich Paul was Michael Jordan's agent, or he was an agent of another player, he would not be saying half of the stuff that he says about LeBron James. He talks about expectations. What are we talking about? All the other great players have expectations. So Victor Wembanyama doesn't have expectations. Luka Doncic didn't have expectations. Like, what are we talking about? All the number one draft picks, they don't have expectations. Kobe Bryant didn't have expectations. Like, what are we talking about? They were comparing Kobe to Michael Jordan. What are we talking about? Great players have expectations. They have expectations. Now, it was you guys that were pushing it, the chosen one and all. They was pushing that because they thought. But a lot of that was also self-promotion. LeBron went and wore Michael Jordan's jersey number to help feed into that whole thing of expectation. He fed into it a lot. But him picking Jordan. Now, the one of the people that left the comment said, I want to get back to his comment. He said there was one of the guys that said LeBron does everything better than that's a lie. Okay, Michael Jordan's a better shooter from perimeter. LeBron shoots 37% from the field outside of the paint. 37 career. He has a better mid-range jumper. He's a better defender. He's a better free throw shooter. He's a better leader. Like, I'm taking Jordan over LeBron for so many different reasons. Like, it's not just, because of that. No, I'm taking him over for so many reasons. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? But this just goes to show you just how fabricated this debate is. It's done for us to argue over and talk about. Somebody asked me a question, why you talk about LeBron so much? Because I think he has the most interesting storylines out there. I mean, this is the most interesting thing going on here to me. So I'm talking about what's interesting to me. If I say something else, I'll talk about it. Y'all see me talking about politics from time to time. That's interesting to me. It's interesting to me. But to me, man, that pretty much sums it up for you guys. That the guy's agent is saying, I'll take Michael Jordan. That should say a lot. That should speak volumes. Because that best playoff buzzer, most blah, Rich Paul is aware of that too, and he still didn't choose him. And he still didn't. As you guys know, excuse me, going back to the summertime, or heading into the season rather, we got the news that LeBron was going to miss the first game of training camp. Then we heard he was going to miss the entire training camp. Then we heard he was going to miss the entire preseason. Then we heard he was going to miss, I think, about 10 games or whatever it is to start the season, about a month or so, right? And at that time, I said to myself, this is fantastic news for a few reasons. Number one, this team can now be watchable again. As a Laker fan that's in recess, I'm like, I just can't support the team with this guy on the team. And there are a lot of Laker fans that feel, I just can't. I can't do it with the antics and the nonsense and everything that we witnessed over the last 6 years. I refuse to. So LeBron was out and the Lakers got off to a surprisingly hot start. And in the midst of that, we discovered that we had a really good player in Austin Reeves who was playing at an all-star caliber level. And the Lakers were playing very, very well. And they were a top 3 seed at times, top 4, top 3 seed, really exceeding a lot of our expectations. But coming into the season, I always thought the Lakers would be kind of a middle of the pack team. I didn't see them going to the Western Conference Finals. I didn't see that happening. But nevertheless, they were playing refreshingly well. You could see that the guys, they were developing a lot of great chemistry amongst one another. You had the whole Beach Boys vibe going on. It was just a great, great, great time. But then there was a looming question over the team, which was, how would LeBron affect the team when he ultimately made his return back, right? And people like myself were very, very trepidatious about him returning to the team. And I felt that, number one, he was going to ruin players like Austin Reeves, but I think he was just going to mess up the chemistry because the players looked so much happier. They're playing so much freer without him. And when he comes back, he was definitely going to affect that whole team chemistry that they had going there. So LeBron James then selectively chose to come back against one of the worst teams in the NBA that the Lakers were playing on back-to-back occasions, which was the Utah Jazz. And in the first game that he came back, I remember he scored 10 points and I think 11 assists or something like that. And you had players like Nick Young jumping out of the window talking about this game right here made LeBron James the GOAT. Yes, believe it or not, LeBron playing against the Utah Jazz, scoring 11 points and 10 points and 11 assists, was the final nail in the coffin for the GOAT argument for Nick Young. So that occurred. But I was looking at the team. I said to myself, I don't think this is going to work. And the reason I didn't feel that it was going to work was because the combination of LeBron, Reeves, and Luka hadn't worked in the past. And if you just look at the makeup of the team, those three guys who are their best players are also their worst defenders. All right. So I said to myself, we're going to have problems down the line. Here are the facts. Prior to LeBron's return, when it was Luka, Reeves, Marcus Smart, Rui, and Ayton, the Lakers were giving up as a unit 107.8 points per game per 100 possession. Since LeBron has returned to the team, the Lakers are now giving up about 117 points per game per 100 possessions. And their defense has gotten decidedly worse. There's no two ways about it. The toxicity levels on the team has risen to a fever pitch. Prior to LeBron's return, you guys will distinctively remember me saying, isn't it refreshing to just watch the Lakers play without any storylines of, oh, this guy needs more help, that guy needs. It was just, people were just watching the games and enjoying the games, right? If they lose, we talk about it and then we move on. But ever since his return, the storyline started, the narrative started. His agent, Rich Paul, started making comments that rubbed a lot of NBA players the wrong way about another client's, another agent's client in Austin Reeves. The toxicity is back. And now you can see that the team has totally lost his way. The Lakers, as we speak, have lost 3 games in a row. Some of them to bad teams. Okay, they lost to the Clippers, who are a team that is yet to, the Clippers, one of the, I think, 5 or 6 teams in the NBA that is yet to have even 10 wins on the season. The Lakers lost to them. They lost to the Phoenix Suns, a team that's behind them in the standings. And they just lost again to the Houston Rockets, a team that's also behind them in the standings. So looking at the standings, one would think, well, the Lakers are good. No. Over 50% of the teams that the Lakers have played thus far are below 500 teams. We've had the easiest schedule in the NBA. And if you look at the team statistics, you will know that this is a horrendous team. A horrendous team, especially on the defensive side of the floor. So yesterday, after that debacle that took place in LA where the Lakers got beat 119-96, head coach JJ Redick went to speak to the press. And as he was making his comments, you could see that he was visually furious. Like he was not happy. And when it came time for him to react to his team, he absolutely ripped into these jokers. And I said to myself, you're now beginning to get the picture of the mess that you're in. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to play what JJ had to say to the media here. And then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to JJ Redick's comments here.
When you point to that, I mean, I would assume they offensive rebounds in their first 2 misses, a thing that I would imagine you talked about a lot. As a coach, what does that feel like when you're on the sideline and you've keyed in on something and within 48 seconds it goes?
Yeah, it doesn't matter how I feel. It doesn't matter how I feel.
Why do you think your team was unable to execute the things that it was tasked with?
Because we don't care enough right now. And that's the part that bothers you a lot. We don't care enough to like do the things that are necessary. We don't care enough to be a professional. It's, we had it. We had it. This is. I always say this about culture. I always say this about a team being a good team being a functioning organism. It can change like that. We don't have it right now.
JJ, and as you talk about today is modern basketball, you guys have 2 days off, but I'm guessing you guys are only going to practice once. How do you improve on these things when you can't practice enough?
Oh, we practice them all the time. It's not, again, it goes back to what I said the other night. It's a matter of making the choice. And too often we have guys that don't want to make that choice. And it's pretty consistent who those guys are. And so Saturday's practice, I told the guys, it's going to be uncomfortable. The meeting is going to be uncomfortable. I'm not doing another 53 games like this.
Pre-game, you mentioned a stretch in March of last season where you thought maybe this was a little similar, or at least the feeling of it was similar. Was there anything that you recall that your team did to get out of it, to kind of get the momentum back that could be replicable in this situation?
Yeah, I mean, I think every group is different, and the circumstances of trying to get out of it, I think, are different. I wish I had a good answer to that question because I think it's a fair and valid question. It's hard because each individual guy is at a different space, So you're trying to get all of the individuals to function as a team, and you got to address what's going on right now, and it's hard to draw parallels. Does that make sense? Yeah.
JJ, you mentioned the lack of care factor right now. Is there anything, whether it's you or your coaching staff, is care factor coachable, or is that just either have it or you don't?
No, I think guys will say they want to win. The care factor to me is like, do I care enough to actually do what I'm supposed to do? And that's really what the championship habits are, and that's what we don't have right now.
If you're saying, you said earlier, it's the same guys not executing, does that just come down to, look, if you don't do it now, your rotation spot?
We've given everybody a chance.
Excellent. So you heard what JJ Redick had to say. Now, I want to point out some key information for you guys. In that game yesterday, something happened. And it happened to Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves suffered some kind of calf strain or something like that, where he was only limited only to 14 minutes in the first half. And he didn't return in the second half. And one of the things that LeBron fans have been saying is, "Oh, Austin Reeves, man, he needs to go to the bench." Even his agent was co-signing the idea of Reeves taking up a Manu Ginobili role on the team. Austin Reeves needs to go to the bench. Austin Reeves needs to go to the bench. Austin Reeves needs to go to the bench. He's horrible. He's ruining it for LeBron James and all that. And I said to myself, I said, okay, good. Austin Reeves is now gone. LeBron is in the lineup now with Luka, Marcus Smart, Rui, and Ayton. Let's see what these guys can do now that Reeves is out of the game. In the first half, let me just give you guys a quick snapshot of what went down. The Houston Rockets had scored 63 points in the first half. In the first half, the Lakers only scored 53. Then we got to the third quarter. Now, mind you, Reeves was no longer in the game. So there was no more Reeves to blame. And what ensued in that fourth quarter? The Lakers gave up 29 points. They only scored 21 points. And the lead ballooned from a 10-point lead going into the half to an 18-point lead going into the fourth. So the Lakers actually got worse in that fourth quarter, in that third quarter. And by the end of the game, in the second half of the game, in which Reeves didn't play, the Lakers gave up 56 points to the 43 that they scored. They were only able to corral, I want you guys to think about this, 10 rebounds in the second half while giving up 26 rebounds. The Houston Rockets out-rebounded the Lakers in the second half with a margin of 16. A margin of 16. And I want to get into the big picture here. At the end of that game, we're not even going to focus on the Rockets because they did well. I want to give you the box plus minuses for the various players on the team that played considerable minutes. Marcus Smart's plus minus was -2 in 29 minutes. So you can see how much of a positive effect he had on the team. Luka Doncic had box plus minus was -25, and he had 6 turnovers, 4, and I think in the first quarter, which was horrendous. DeAndre Ayton's box plus minus was -14. Rui Hachimura's box plus minus was -29. And mind you, he didn't score a single point. LeBron's box plus minus was -33 from a guy that scored 18, who shot 53.8% from the field. And you're saying to yourself, but how is that possible? How could he have a worse box plus minus than a guy who scored 0, who had the same amount of rebounds, 4 less assists than this guy? His defense. Now, I want to give you guys a snapshot of what's really going on here. Of the 3 players that are the best players of the Lakers, Austin Reeves' statistics this season, although his scoring has gone down precipitously since LeBron has returned, his box plus minus on the season is 2.9, which means that in the 22 games that he's played, the Lakers are winning by 2.9 when he's on the floor. Luka Doncic, the Lakers' best player by a wide margin, his box plus minus is 2.6 in 21 games. Do you know what LeBron's box plus minus is for the Lakers? In 13 games, his box plus minus is -4.5. I'll say that one more time. In the 13 games that they've played, his box plus minus is -4.5. Which means what exactly? It means that on average, when he's on the floor, they're losing by 4.5 points. But his deranged fan base believes that the answer to the Lakers' problems is to bench Reeves and play LeBron more. The biggest problem the Lakers have, and they have a few, but the biggest one is that you have a 41-year-old on the floor that doesn't give a about playing defense. As a matter of fact, there's a clip that we want to play for you guys here from one of the funniest channels on YouTube that covers the NBA. And I saw his clip last night. It's from the channel. Oh, goodness. Oh, wow. I can't. Awful Coaching. It's about a 60-second clip. Now, I don't know if we're going to be able to show it. Copyright. If we have a copyright strike, then we'll just remove it. But I want to play this video for you because there was a moment in that third quarter that stood out to me that I want you guys to take a look at that this coach pointed out. Take a look at this footage here.
LeBron James once again shows he's the biggest diva in the league. Look at this. What do you notice about this clip? LeBron just doesn't get back. He's still not back. Look at this. He's at half court like he always does. I mean, look at this. This is the play he's crying over. I mean, this is not a foul. Then look at him here. This is the best part. He's like a 4-year-old stomping his feet. I mean, this is total haram. That is just not a foul. And then look at him stomping his feet. So let's just describe this play. LeBron blows a layup, then he doesn't get back on defense for like 12 seconds. This is your king. This is your goddess. This me.
Excellent. So you saw it. Do you know what happened there? In that third quarter, while the Lakers are trying to make a comeback after starting the second half with a 10-point deficit, LeBron misses a layup that nobody fouled him on. Instead of getting back on defense, he's on the other side of the court arguing. while his team is playing 4-5. You have another star in Luka who does the same thing. But here's the fundamental difference. Even as bad as Luka is on defense, the Lakers are better off with him than they are with LeBron. The Lakers' biggest problem is that they have a 41-year-old that they're paying $52 million a year. That's their biggest problem. And my contention is this. As I said a few days ago, this team is done for this season. They're done. They're done. They're done. And I put the majority of the blame on this guy because the moment he returned, things went awry. So I blame him. And now you can see why the Lakers refused to give LeBron a contract extension. That would have been financial malpractice if the Lakers decided to give this guy an extension, especially at those dollars. You would have to be by far the dumbest team in the NBA. Now, we have some teams that are running for the dumbest team in the NBA, like the Philadelphia 76ers, who convinced themselves to give Paul George $200 million. If the Lakers had decided to extend this guy, that would have been the single dumbest decision we've seen in a while. That's the problem. Luka's defense was good enough to get the Lakers to the finals, the Mavs to the finals. And they're not going to trade Luka away, although some deranged LeBron fans are insane people. They're talking about trading away Luka Doncic, a 26-year-old superstar, for what? To go get somebody to help LeBron. You see, these guys are insane. They still think LeBron is going to win championships. They still think there's a chance. It's done for, bro. He's had 23 attempts at it. He could only do it 4 times. It's done. It's done. He's played 23 years. He is yet to be able to get it done. It's done. There is no more time. Time is up. There is no more time. Y'all time has passed. But y'all still operating with this sick mindset of, oh, well, if we give him more time and we give it, nothing's gonna happen. He's not winning any more championships. It's done for. All he can do now is pad his stats and stat pad. That's all. That the Lakers are going to trade away Luka to get somebody to help LeBron win. Yeah, they're going to do that to invest in a 42-year-old next year. They're going to do that. This is how self-deluded LeBron fans are. It's done. Winnie the Pooh, low lights, you, Mumu, you. They were out there talking about LeBron has changed his team in ways that, he added a whole new complexion. You, bro, you need to knock it the off, bro. All you do is sit up there and read basketballreference.com all day long. You need to knock it off, man. You need to knock it off. You was doing videos about, he changed the game. He changed the team. After the game, he came out when he dropped 10 points and 11 assists against an ass Jazz. And you decided to jump out the window. What you mean he changed it? He changed them for the worse. What you mean, dog? What you mean? What you mean? You over there reacting to everybody's videos online. Scap, he sounds dumb. This guy, he sounds dumb. You over there rubbing your head, forgetting that you be saying dumb. You just be making content like as if, man, I'm the smartest here. No, you not. You came out and jumped out the window talking about LeBron changed the game. He changed the team for the best. He's adding something that they could never have. So what is he adding? They're qualitatively worse than they were before he got there. Defense, horrendous. But he changed them. He made them better. Winnie the Pooh. Unbelievable. Now you're going to have his twerking ass supporters. Man, what we going to do? What we going to do? Like as if y'all don't know what the Lakers got to do. Send the oldest home. No, that can't be the answer. We got to go figure something else out. Bunch of twerking ass mother. And I hope he see this video. I don't be watching. I don't watch his videos. Once in a while, his videos be popping up on my timeline. I don't even watch this dude. Once in a while, but I did see that video pop up. Talking about he changed the Lakers for the best. And then you're going to have the nerve to be reacting to other people when they make content. Oh, man, he doesn't know anything. Chad, I can't watch this. I can't watch. Like as if you're the seer of basketball. Forgetting that you be saying dumb. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's the reason why people still think there's hope. When you got dudes like this talking about he adds a whole new complexion to the team, it's people like this that are giving us false hope that if we just do this and we just do that, maybe things will change. I said a few days ago, I want to see where I said it on the channel, because people thought that it was a hot take at the time, but then we realized that it wasn't. I said, this was before Christmas, where I'm trying to, I deleted it. I deleted the comment, but I had said a few days ago that this Lakers season, the season is over, right? I don't know if it's still there, but I said this season is over. And some people were like, oh, it's too soon, man. This is a hot take, man. This is a hot take, dog. Like, come on, Charles. What you mean it's over? You're hating. And I said, no. I said it's over. And the data showed as much. These are the facts for the people that are stat geeks. Prior to LeBron's return to this team, the Lakers were among some of the best teams in the NBA in terms of offense. They were kind of a middle-of-the-pack team defensively, and they were giving up about 108 points per game per 100 possessions. Since his return, they've given up about 117.8 points per game per 100 possessions, which shows you that they've gotten qualitatively worse. Well, it's quite simple to see. Of the three defenders that they have, he's the worst. There's no disputing this. He's the worst. And it is no question that of the three best players on the team, he's having the most detrimental impact to winning. Now, of course, I know LeBron fans are going to be pissed off and screaming and hollering and all of this stuff. Well, I hate Charles. I hate this guy. He's a LeBron hater. But one of the things that LeBron James fans love to do is hang their analysis on stats. Well, let's go to the stats. This season, Austin Reeves, box plus minus on the year, is 2.9. Y'all know what box plus minus means. I don't need to explain it. Luka Doncic, his box plus minus is 2.6. All right. Now, what are those numbers saying? Are those numbers saying that Luka and Austin Reeves are great defenders? No, it's not saying that. It's saying, despite the fact that they're not great defenders, the team is still winning with those guys on the floor. That's what that number is telling you. LeBron James, his box plus minus on the year in 13 games is negative 4.5. Negative 4.5 in 13 games. Which means what? When he's on the floor, the team is being outscored by 4.5 points. When he's on the floor. If that stat doesn't tell you, then I'll show you another stat. In last night's game that they lost, LeBron had the worst box plus minus on the floor with a minus 33. But you'd be saying to yourself, how's that possible? Rui scored 0. Yeah, his box plus minus was minus 29. So ask yourself, how is it possible that a guy that scored 0 points, only had 1 assist, wasn't hurting his team as much as the guy that scored 18? Because the guy that scored 18 was busy arguing with referees in that third quarter when the Lakers were trying to make a comeback from that 10-point deficit coming out of the half, than actually playing defense. That's why Rui, for as bad as he is, at least can get back on defense. LeBron doesn't do that. Neither does Luka, but Luka's net effect is positive versus LeBron's. So at the end of the game, head coach JJ Redick decided that he had finally seen enough and decided that it was time for him to send a warning to his best players on the team who have not been getting the job done. And in my personal view, I think these comments were directed at Luka Doncic and LeBron James. Excellent. So what we want to do is want to play what JJ had to say here, and then want to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to JJ Redick's comments here.
When you point to that, I mean, I would assume the offensive rebounds in their first 2 misses, a thing that I would imagine you talked about a lot. As a coach, what does that feel like when you're on the sideline and you've keyed in on something and within 48 seconds it goes?
Yeah, it doesn't
poorly?
matter how I feel. It doesn't matter how I feel.
Why do you think your team was unable to execute the things that it was tasked with?
Because we don't care enough right now, and that's the part that bothers you a lot. We don't care enough to like do the things that are necessary. We don't care enough to be a professional. It's, we had it. We had it. This is. I always say this about culture. I always say this about a team being a good team being a functioning organism. It can change like that. We don't have it right now.
JJ, and as you talk about today's modern basketball, you guys have 2 days off, but I'm guessing you guys are only going to practice once. How do you improve on these things when you can't practice enough?
Oh, we practice them all the time. It's not, again, it goes back to what I said the other night. It's a matter of making the choice. And too often we have guys that don't want to make that choice. And it's pretty consistent who those guys are. And so Saturday's practice, I told the guys, it's going to be uncomfortable. The meeting is going to be uncomfortable. I'm not doing another 53 games like this.
Pre-game, you mentioned a stretch in March of last season where you thought maybe this was a little similar, or at least the feeling of it was similar. Was there anything that you recall that your team did to get out of it, to kind of get the momentum back that could be replicable in this situation?
Yeah, I mean, I think every group is different, and the circumstances of trying to get out of it, I think, are different. I wish I had a good answer to that question because I think it's a fair and valid question. It's hard because each individual guy is at a different space, So you're trying to get all of the individuals to function as a team, and you got to address what's going on right now, and it's hard to draw parallels. Does that make sense? Yeah.
JJ, you mentioned the lack of care factor right now. Is there anything, whether it's you or your coaching staff, is care factor coachable, or is that just either have it or you don't?
No, I think guys will say they want to win. The care factor to me is like, do I care enough to actually do what I'm supposed to do? And that's really what the championship habits are, and that's what we don't have right now.
If you're saying, you said earlier, it's the same guys not executing, does that just come down to, look, if you don't do it now, your rotation spot?
We've given everybody a chance.
Fantastic. So you heard what JJ Redick had to say. I was having a conversation this morning with Rashad McCants, and we're talking about this loss. And I said to him, he was telling me, bro, look, the team sucks. They all suck. They can't play defense. And I was saying, Rashad, yeah, I agree with you, but bro, look at the numbers. This dude is the worst of them all. And number two, Luka, for as bad as we've seen him play defense, he's better than he was last year. And as bad as he is as a defender, he was still able to make it to the finals and beat the team that beat LeBron to go to the finals. So if his defense is as detrimental to winning as some say it is, how did the Mavs get to the finals? Nikola Jokic is in a defensive stalwart. How did the Nuggets win the championship with his defense being that bad? Because they put the right players around him. With Gordon, Brown, and all these guys. Great defense. You build around your best player and you try to cover up for his deficiencies. And we've already seen teams do this successfully, like the Dallas Mavericks. We've already seen that. But the problem we're having is you're telling Luka for his best player, his second best player, to be a 41-year-old who has absolutely no interest in playing defense whatsoever. Now that can't happen. You can't have a scenario like that, and then you have a Reeves who's a mid defender, not even a bad defender. Right? You can't have scenarios like that. Cannot be your reality. But I want to get to what JJ had to say. Some people say, well, how do you know he's not directing this to Austin Reeves? Well, Austin Reeves only played 14 minutes in the game, so I could be directing it to him. His problem starts at the top. As with any organization, issues begin at the top. He needs to address his best players in LeBron and Luka Doncic. Those are the players that he needs to address. The question is, does he have what it takes to address them? Because here's my proclamation. If JJ doesn't try to get a hold of this team, LeBron is going to get him fired by the end of the season. He said he's not going to go through this for another 53 games. You absolutely will if you don't do something. LeBron James is averse to being held accountable. He's averse to it. LeBron has shown you he doesn't respect you as a coach. That's the reason why he can be laughing with opponents during the game as the team is being blown out. So the question now becomes on JJ Redick, what are you going to do as a coach? Are you going to have your defining moment as a coach? Because now we're going to understand whether or not you're a coach. And it has nothing to do with X's and O's at this point. It has everything to do with your ability to communicate the harsh realities to your best players. Are you going to do it? In the press conference, it sounded great. You seem pretty pissed off. Tomorrow they're going to be having their practice and all of that. But you got to call guys to the carpet. You have to. LeBron sitting there, bro. If he was a coach, at that point you time out, you rip into his ass on the court. Or you bench him. I've seen Kobe Bryant get benched once. It was a crazy moment. I think it was Mike Brown that did it. It may have been Mike Brown or Mike D'Antoni, but I think it was Mike Brown, where Kobe was screwing up on the floor and he benched him. It was a moment, but he did it. Phil Jackson, well, you know Phil Jackson. He would just talk crap about you in the media. But now is when you develop as a coach, because ultimately coaching is not about X's and O's. The championship coaches is about managing star personalities. Those are the championship level coaches. It's not just about X's and O's. Can you manage superstar egos and keep them in check and coach them hard? Do you know who was a master at this? Greg Popovich. Obviously, Tim Duncan and these guys are willing to be coached, but Greg Popovich did that. Phil Jackson did that. And JJ Redick is going to have to do the same if he wants to gain any respect from this team and right this problem. Because as of now, there is no fixing it. Talking to the media isn't going to make it work. Isn't going to make it work. Now, I want to address another point quickly. They're Laker fans, LeBron fans, and you got to do Austin Reeves. Well, Austin Reeves only played 14 minutes in that game, and the Lakers got blown out in the third quarter. Excuse me. The 10-point deficit that they had coming into the second half, ballooned to 18 with LeBron and Luka and all of these guys and Marcus Smart on the floor. Reeves was nowhere to be found. He wasn't even in the game. So how you gonna blame it on Reeves? Then these clown ass fan base, these fans said, "Oh, Reeves faked an injury." Can you imagine? He faked an injury. But when we said LeBron faked an injury to start the season, oh, y'all hating. But we supposed to sit up here and endure y'all nonsense. It's a joke. They're a joke. He's a joke. The team is a joke. It's over. I told y'all this already. It's over. And guess what? There's nobody coming to bail you out. No one is trading Austin Reeves for you. No one is doing it. And if Austin Reeves is going to be traded, it won't be because LeBron fans want it. Let me say that one more time for the LeBron fans in the back. If Austin Reeves is going to be traded, it won't be to make LeBron James happy. It would be something that Luka Doncic himself wants. And if Luka says Reeves is going nowhere, Reeves is going nowhere. LeBron doesn't have that clout anymore. You don't get to have clout on a team with an expiring contract. That makes no sense. It's Luka's team. Maybe you guys don't have the memo. Y'all, they're over here talking about they should trade Luka. Yeah, the Lakers should trade Luka. Like, hear how insane you guys sound. They should trade Luka to go get somebody else to help LeBron win. They're insane, this fan base. That they should trade away Luka Doncic. This is where we are with this clown fan base. That they should trade away Luka. What needs to happen is this season needs to end and y'all need to leave. That's what needs to happen. This season needs to come to an end. LeBron needs to pack his bags, and his fan base need to, with their twerking asses, need to grab their buckets of honey and that they keep in their back pockets and keep it pushing. That's what needs to happen. And then, and only then, will this franchise be free. But until then, it's going to be a long season. JJ Redick talking about ain't going to be another. It is. It's going to be like that, son. Only moves going down is if Luka Doncic requests it. I don't know if LeBron fans missed the memo, but maybe you guys were not here this summer. Maybe you guys went to Honeyland in Narnia. Over the summer, the Lakers were making decisions without informing LeBron. But y'all think in your derangement that, oh, they're going to trade Luka to help LeBron. Yeah, y'all living in Peter Pan land, ain't y'all? Y'all really think that y'all are the A side of this whole thing. They really believe that they're the A side. Y'all are lost in the sauce. I've already made it clear. I'm not a fan of Draymond Green at all. I'm not a fan of that dude at all. I think he's a dirty player. I think he'd be doing some bozo moves on the court. And the part that really annoys me about Draymond is that when he's doing all of these bozo antics, most of the time he acts like he doesn't know what just happened. He will stomp somebody on the chest and start flailing like he didn't see what happened. He would do a Shoryuken spinning kick uppercut. He would act like he don't know what's happening. He's throwing dudes into chokeholds. They never saw him coming. All just a bunch of antics, right? Bunch of antics. And for whatever reason, people in the media give this guy a pass because they cool with him or whatever. I don't know why, right? They give this dude a pass, and I don't know why. But one of the dudes that decided they're not going to give him a pass was Kenyon Martin. As you guys know, Kenyon Martin basically said that Draymond Green be picking and choosing. 1 minute he wants to fight this dude. The next minute something happens. He does. And I agree with him. I've seen many situations where Draymond was supposed to pop off and let his fist fly and nothing happened. He got into a Ron Artest. Did you see any spinning kicks and whirlwinds happening? Did you see any of that go down when that happened? What about when Marcus Morris Sr. threw him to the floor and he stood up? Did you see any of that going on? What about when Isaiah Stewart hit him with the come here, the scorpion come here? Did you see any of these moves going down? Of course you did. But when you picking and choosing people you feel like you can do it to, that's what Kenyon Martin was saying. Regardless of whoever it is, if something happens in that moment, regardless of who did it to me, it's on. That's what Kenyon Martin was saying. Draymond Green got in his feelings. Then Draymond started deflecting, started talking about championships. Then who has championships? And then Kenyon Martin named like 50 players that are better than him at his position. And we kind of left it at that. So what happened? Recently, there was a blow up that took place between Draymond Green and Warriors head coach Steve Kerr. And I finally got a chance to see the footage, and we're going back and forth from one another. Then Draymond just stands up and walks off the bench. When have you ever seen a player just walk off a bench and leave on their own? When have you think that's going to happen with Ime Udoka? You think Draymond Green would have done that with the Miami Heat? No, he did it with Steve Kerr because he knew he can get away with Steve Kerr. That's why. And this topic was brought to the table on an episode of Gil's Arena. And the headline, rather, of the show said, Draymond and Steve Kerr are destroying the Warriors. And on the panel, you had Kenyon Martin, Rashard McCants, if my memory serves me right, Nick Young, Brandon Jennings, and Gilbert Arenas. I think the whole crew was there. And if you know anything about Kenyon Martin, you know he's going to tell it like it is, which is something that a lot of people like. So when it came time for him to react to Draymond, he absolutely ripped into him. And I think Kenyon Martin was 1,000% on the money. And if you feel that Kenyon Martin wasn't on the money, then you just missed the entire point of the entire segment. So what we want to do is we're going to play what Kenyon Martin had to say in response to Draymond Green's antics, and then we'll continue on the show. Take a listen to Kenyon Martin here.
Let's call a spade a spade. When should the person grow up? He's 35. He's not 25.
When should a person grow up?
When should this person, not a man? Person, not a person.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about this person dealing in this situation that he's been in, right? Coming from someone who had turmoil with the head coach in the NBA, right? Someone who I dislike. We didn't win anything together. Disliked him for certain reasons. When you've had success with someone, we get the game is emotional. I understand that. But how can someone if you've had this much success with get you to that level? Right? Like, we've seen it all. This is the only person I've played for, basically. Like, what can he do or say at this point, at 35 years old? Like, this is my point. Like, and I'm taking accountability for like the things that me and George went. Absolutely. Was I easy to deal with? No, because of the person. Right? The person was a bad person to other people. This man is, from what I gathered, they relationship and everything has been player coach, and they like each other from winning and having these things over years. You've built like a rapport, like a major rapport with this man. And how can he get you to that point to where you leave your guys?
It's like a marriage that it's like a marriage that should have been ended. Right? It's just like now we're just lingering on. Now we're just dealing with each other.
That part, right?
Right? You know, so, like when you're with somebody, you just be like, all right.
Now we're not finna argue and fight. We coexist. Like there's nothing that there's nothing that you can do or say in this to get me there. Like that's just, and I'm thinking about I'm trying to put myself in this situation as much because, like I've always said, we played the game similar with emotion and certain things. Yes, me and Draymond played the game similar, emotion and pride and all of these things. Yes, but to leave your guys for one, and it just becomes a point to where it's exhausting to Warriors fans, coaching staff. And to your point, like, Steph, right? It's just like, come on, dude. God damn, dude. Like.
So, like, what is success then? Like you know what I'm saying? So, like, when we see people like that with success, like, what is success then? Like, is it too much success?
We can disagree.
No, but I'm saying, is it too much success? Because, like, at some point, I got 4 rings, right? I'm going out on top, right? You know, my career is like, all right, at some point, it's like, all right, I got everything. Like, I've been in every big game. I've gotten everything. Like, what is it going to take for me just to
grow up?
Play? Just play.
To grow up, right?
Just play basketball.
No, to grow up. But it's about growing up and maturing at some point, dog.
So you saying not grown?
Did I say that?
No.
Listen, Nick.
No. People get mad off it.
No.
His age is 35, yes, Nick. He's a grown man, yes.
He's grown.
The way he just behaved is like my 7-year-old. He didn't hear some here. He went to his
Took his ball.
He took his ball and went to his room. He's 35. No, you're a 35-year-old grown-ass man, Nick.
Ain't that the mature thing to
No, it's not, Nick. It's to shut the in that moment.
You the player, he the coach. Just sit up there, sit there.
Why you think Stackhouse, other coaches went over there trying to listen? Dude, just.
I agree with the walking away. I agree with the walking away though, too, though.
It's both things, right? You walked away so you would shut the. Right?
Yes.
So why not have the discipline in that moment to do the exact same thing? Just sit there and be like, maybe because I.
Or just stand outside the huddle.
Great. So you heard what he had to say. I just want to read through some of the comments from Gil's Arena. You don't have to show it, but I'll just read through some of them. One viewer said, "I'm with Kenyon on this one. Draymond at some point has to grow up." Another one said, "I only came here to hear Kenyon's reaction." Another guy said, "Kenyon Martin is basically saying Draymond lacks emotional maturity." Another viewer said, "Now y'all see what Kenyon been saying." Another guy said, "I wish I could get paid millions and just remove myself when I get angry." Another guy says, "Translation, Kenyon was right." Another guy says, "Kenyon has really matured over the years." Another viewer said, Martin and McCants the only people with balls." Another person said, "Rashard and Kenyon should start their own podcast." Another person said, I'm with Kenyon. The most ironic is they won both games when Draymond was not playing," and then it just went with a whole bunch of more people just basically saying that Kenyon and Rashard were correct, but in this case, Kenyon Martin. Let me just quickly say this. it is important that you have opinions like Kenyon Martin and Rashard McCann on this show. Why? Because again, it provides a balance. It's integral to a good show. You need a balance. There are some people that will agree with Gilbert Arenas and Nick Young. Great. Those people are there. But there are a lot of people that agree with Kenyon. And if you don't have those people on the show, it's not a good show. So it's important to hear the other side of the coin when we're discussing these issues. It's vital. Now, let's get to what Kenyon Martin had to say specifically about Draymond Green. He said he has an emotion. He said he has the maturity of a 7-year-old. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, half of the stuff that Draymond Green does is totally uncalled for. Smacking dudes and it's totally uncalled for. Totally uncalled for. Draymond cannot contain his emotions at all. He can't. And it ain't like Draymond trying to play, y'all trying to make it look like a black man. Nah, dog. There are other black players that don't do this. It's just you. No one is trying to make it the angry black man. No. The NBA is full of black players and they don't behave like you. It's you. No one is trying to put you in a corner and say, oh, black men are angry. No, Draymond, it's you. And that reaction is part of the problem. I didn't even know I was older than Draymond Green. Bro, do you know how embarrassing that is? Number one. Number two, you quit on your team. You quit on your team. You quit. Because in that moment, you were saying what you were going through personally outweighed what was the better for the overall team. So I'm leaving. So I can be in a better emotional space. No, you quit. That's what Scottie Pippen was accused of in that Knicks game. He quit. The situation became too much for you and you quit and you left. Because in that moment, you were talking about, well, it's better I leave. Yeah. Is it better for the team? No, it's better for you. But you spin it and say, no, if I'm here, then it affects. No. If you wanted to help the team and that was your primary focus, you would have found a way to deal with it on the bench. That's what you would have did. So you quit on your guys. Is anybody going to say that? No. And what amazes me is that Gil and these guys were defending him. They were defending childish behavior. That's childish behavior. These are what kids do. They essentially throw a tantrum. He said this to me, the coach. Did he beat you? Did he beat you up? Huh? Words? I guess words do break bones. Words do hurt you. Words apparently do hurt you. He said something that I didn't like, so I left. I walked out. Of the situation. I couldn't deal with it anymore. Huh? So Draymond is the only player that a player said something to that from a coach that they didn't like it, and then they didn't want to leave. He's the only one. He's the only one. No. That was another antic. And Draymond has been getting away with all of these antics for years. People like Stephen A. Smith and all these guys will make excuses. Draymond would do something wrong. He would do something wrong, and then people would try to paint it as if like Draymond is a good dude. How is he a good dude? When you kicking people in their balls, what kind of good dude does that, bro? What kind of good dude goes around kicking men in their privates? What good dude is that? I don't know any good dudes that do that. You kick somebody on their privates on the street, you asking for it, bro. You know what somebody will do to you if you do that? Do you know what somebody can do to you? You do that to the wrong person and y'all make excuses for that? Y'all make excuses for it. And then Draymond tries to turn himself into a victim. That's the part that kills me. He literally tries to make himself the victim. That's exactly what happened with him and Kenyon Martin. He tried to make himself the villain. Oh, they hating on me. Ain't nobody hating on you. He just said he don't feel like you. He didn't even say that. He didn't even mention your name. That was all that happened. Marcellus Wiley asked him the question. He didn't even mention his name. He picked somebody else. Then it became a thing, and then he had to explain himself. Then instead of addressing what Kenyon Martin had to say, you ran and made it about championships and stats and all-star appearances. No, bro, it's enough. Like, enough with all of this twerking and hollering and screaming and pouring honey all over each other's booties. Nah, somebody got to keep it a bean at a certain point, bro. Some of y'all just be twerking it up too much for me. It's like, nah, dog. It's like, it's okay. You can say what you really believe. Nothing's going to happen. You think Draymond going to run down on Kenyon Martin and whoop his ass? That's never going to happen. He's just going to give you his opinion. And if he sees him, he's going to talk to him. And that's all that's going to happen. He's not going to put hands on Kenyon Martin. That's never going to happen. So shout out again to Kenyon Martin saying what a lot of people think. That was so immature. It says, I can't handle the moment, so I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave. That's what it says. Shout out to him. He's 1,000% correct. 1,000% correct. Yesterday, the Lakers got their asses whooped. And it should be no surprise. Do you know why? Because the Lakers finally played a decent team. Prior to that, the Lakers were beating up on teams like the Utah Jazz, the New Orleans Pelicans, the Clippers, some other ass cheeks teams that they were playing, right? Although they lost to the Hawks, I don't even know how the hell they did that. But anyway, they were just losing to teams, playing weak teams left and right. But going into that game against the Houston Rockets, I knew that the Houston Rockets were going to win that game because the Houston Rockets are a better team. But forget about the fact that they're 6th seed in the Western Conference, they're a better team. Is that the Lakers have had the easiest schedule to start the season. So, as we predicted, the Lakers went in there and got that ass tapped, right? They whooped their asses, right? Even without Austin Reeves, only played 14 minutes. And at the end of the game, of course, head coach J.J. Redick went off. He's pissed off and all of that. So I then come across a clip from Nightcap. And I didn't think that they would react to it because I think they were reacting to was it a football game or something like that they were reacting to? I don't know. But it came time for them to discuss this issue with the Lakers. So Shannon Sharpe, if you watch any of his post-game analysis, he generally likes to go through the box score and kind of read what he saw or what happened in the game. So as he was going through and he was talking about his reading the stats, he didn't realize as he was reading that LeBron James was the worst player for the Lakers on the floor. With a box plus minus of minus 33. And you could see the expression on Shannon Sharpe's face because in that moment, he looked like he was genuinely about to burst into tears. So what we want to do is want to play what Shannon Sharpe had to say here to Chad Johnson during his realization that he had here. And then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to Shannon Sharpe here.
I mean, it's embarrassing. Yeah, I'm going to be 1,000%. Chad, it's embarrassing. Y'all watch him. I mean, the other night against Phoenix, the other night they won't play defense.
Damn.
They won't play defense. They won't play defense. It's not that they won't. They can't. They got guys that can't play. Luka cannot play defense. He can't. LeBron is too old to play defense. He's not going to be able to sit in the chair. Yeah, he can chase down and he can deal for. But your 3 best players, they don't play defense. Hold on. And it puts so much stress on the others to try to recover and to try to cover for those guys after they're getting blown by. Now the defense is compromised.
But hold on, Now what happened? Now some gonna have to give offensively. If everyone starts playing defense, then the offensive output is gonna change drastically.
But here, the problem that you have, if you go look at it, DeAndre Ayton is not a defensive center. So he don't offer you the protection that someone that's a defensive guy that can give you. Look at Maxi Kleber doesn't play defense. Dalton Connect doesn't play defense. The only guy that you really got to play defense is Marcus Smart and Jared Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt played pretty good tonight. He's 3 or 4 from the 3, but a lot of times, Ocho, they leave him wide open. They double to get the ball out of Luka's hand. They'll double to get the ball out of Austin Reeves' hand. They'll double. and they'll go cover. So if I double Austin Reeves, I'm gonna go cover LeBron. I'm gonna go cover Luka. I believe Jared Vanderbilt wide open. I don't believe he can make that shot.
Damn.
They're bad. They're not. I mean, look, 19-10, but until they decide they make it up in their mind they want to play defense, ain't nothing going on. Ayton, what did Ayton have tonight? Ayton was 5 of 6. Man had 2 rebounds. Man, 7 foot tall, got 2 rebounds. They got out rebounded by 20 plus. They was minus 23 on the rebounding end.
Dang.
KD had more rebounds. Jabari Smith had more rebounds. Tari Eason had more rebounds. Şengün had more rebounds. Amin Thompson had more rebounds. Steven Adams had more rebounds. Clint Capella had more rebounds. And Reed Shepard, a guard, who played 19 minutes, had the same number of rebounds. As DeAndre Ayton.
Oh, man.
The leading rebounder was Luka. Luka had 5 and Jared Vanderbilt had 5. LeBron had 2. Rui had 2. Rui got cardio in tonight. Rui was 0 points, 0 for 6 from the field, 0 for 3 from the three-point line, didn't shoot any free throws, 2 up rebounds, 1 assist, a turnover, a steal. Everybody was terrible. LeBron minus 33, Rui minus 29, DeAndre minus 14, Luka minus 25.
Golly.
Austin Reeves minus 7. Kleber minus 8. Only Jared Vanderbilt and Rabia was plus. Everybody else they were terrible tonight.
Bad night tonight. And that's the third loss in a row, you said?
Excellent. So you heard what Shannon had to say. What are my thoughts about this? Shannon, it gets worse. It gets worse. Let me give you some more data here. Luka Doncic's box plus minus on the season is 2.6. Austin Reeves is 2.9. Do you know what LeBron's is? Minus 4.5 on the year. Now, last year was minus 0.8 in 70 games. So this year, he's having even worse effect on the team. Minus 4.5 this season. The Lakers are losing badly with this guy on the floor. The Lakers have gotten worse defensively since he got here. Now, he's saying that they don't want to do it. Of course they don't want to do it. LeBron is old, man. What old player wants to get back on defense? Even Kobe Bryant, when he was very old, he didn't. After he had the Achilles and all, he didn't want to get back on defense. Which is the reason why the Lakers decided we're not going to extend his contract anymore. So the first problem the Lakers have is they have a 41-year-old star on the team. That's a problem. What championship team are you building in this NBA where you need to be young that's going to win a championship like that? I don't know if some of you guys are aware. We read an article not too long ago where the Lakers made it explicitly clear, like a week ago, that they're looking to get pieces around the same age range as Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, players in their mid-20s. So that's the first problem. The second problem is the other guys are not good at playing defense anyway. And Reeves is probably going to be a question mark going into the summer. We'll see. But what we do know is that Luka Doncic is the untouchable piece here. And what the Lakers are going to have to do is figure out a way to work around Luka. And the Lakers were already aware of this. The Mavs didn't trade Luka because he was a bad defender. That's not why they got rid of him. The reason they got rid of him was due to his lack of conditioning. Well, Luka Doncic addressed that this season already. So that wasn't the reason. Do you see the Denver Nuggets looking to trade Nikola Jokic because he's a poor defender? No, it's not that. The issue is this team, they need to construct it a little bit better. And you need to get players that are more complementary to Luka. Now, the big summer sweepstakes is coming up next year. Although I think Giannis' contract expires this year or the year, but I don't remember. Then you have some big names like Giannis, Nikola Jokic, and all that. Then at that time you have to really sit down and think, okay, who's another max guy that we could potentially go after? So the Lakers have made it clear that, look, LeBron's contract is expiring this season. We don't want him here anymore. What they're going to do next year is they're going to clear their books. They're going to have all that free cap space once LeBron's big ass contract is gone. And then I think that the next year they just need to play and essentially audition for another superstar that would come and play with the team. But that superstar has to see what they got. And that other superstar cannot see what the Lakers got while LeBron is on the team. So Luka's going nowhere. Luka can improve defensively in spots, but he's not going to be a great defender. So asking that of Luka is just a fool's errand. It's a fool's errand. He's their best player by far. Now, are there things that Luka needs to improve upon? Yes. Number one, his complaining. Yes. Number two, his transition defense. But that's something they need to work on as an entire unit. That's something they need to work on and hone in on as an entire basketball unit. But overall, man, Shannon, the reality is your guy needs to retire. LeBron is just out here collecting stats at this point. But his fan base seems to be under the illusion that something is meant to happen. Some of them in the last 24 hours are talking about they need to trade Luka Doncic. Their delusion is that is that baked in that the Lakers are going to trade their franchise player to appease a 41-year-old that's on an expiring contract. That's what they're talking. These people are insane. So you talking about he's being minus, but it's going to get worse. He's only getting older. It's only going to get worse. Now, maybe some LeBron fans don't care. Some LeBron fans just want to see LeBron put up stats. That's all they care about. That, oh, he averaged this number. That's all they care about. For them, that's all. Whether the Lakers win or lose, it's no real big deal to them as long as, oh, well, my favorite player is putting up great numbers, and therefore that's all that matters. Bro, that's not enough. JJ Redick just went off talking about he's going to talk to the team. You alluded to it. He's going to talk to the team and rip into them in the weekend. Bro, like, no. You can talk as much as you want. LeBron's still going to be 41. These guys are going to be who they are. In the second half, Reeves didn't play, and you got a chance to see LeBron, Luka, Marcus Smart, Rui Hachimura, and Ayton, and they got the doors blown off of them. They got outscored by 8 points in that third quarter, which ballooned the deficit to 18. They got outscored, or 17 or 18 or something like that. So it's not Reeves. Reeves wasn't even there. But LeBron fans are so pathetic that even in the absence of Reeves, they were still looking for ways to hang blame on him. Well, Reeves quit. Why you care about Reeves? I thought y'all don't want him on the team. Why are you all of a sudden whining and moaning about Reeves? Because there must be a scapegoat. And now some of his LeBron, they're now looking at your man JJ Redick. And JJ got to do a better job. But his biggest problem is LeBron. That's his biggest problem. And until that's addressed, all of this other stuff that we're here doing, we're just wasting our breaths talking in circles. This is where we need to see the biggest changes.